Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Jackie Robinson edition, episode number 42 of going through my favorite 400 sports cards. We are just on our third episode of that, and here is the countdown so far of the cards that we have done. You're not going to see those Jackie cards until much, much later on these favorite 400s, but there's a little glimpse. We are at card number 385, and that card is the 73 rookie card of Mike Schmidt. This came in the final series of the final year that they had series of cards. This is the first year I bought cards, but I did not see this card during that season. When I bought cards, they were just the first two series that I remember getting at the grocery store. And then we were lucky enough, my student teacher would have been fourth grade Christmas of 73, gave all the boys in the class in stockings rack packs of 73 cards. So that would have been an all series rack pack. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't even know there were series at the time. But looking back, they did that at Christmas or December, put all series together and gave out or sold rack packs. I even had some of the other kids give me their rack packs who weren't interested in baseball or cards, so that was kind of cool. But I do not remember seeing a Schmidt at that time. Did get this later. It's part of my 73 set. This one's a little off center, but still nice corners, a little rough cut on an edge. That's my rookie of Michael Jack Schmidt, who I picked as the all-time best third baseman in Major League Baseball back on episode where I was doing the top players at each position. This is my card number 384. It's a Hall of Famer, 1933, Jim Bottomley. Bottomley was a first baseman, mostly for the St. Louis Cardinals. This year here, 33, got traded to the Cincinnati Reds. His is kind of his trademark look with wearing his cap to the side. I've seen other pictures of him wearing his cap like that. He was a little bit of a flamboyant player. He was probably marginal for being in the Hall of Fame, though he did have an MVP year, 1928. That 28 season led the league in homers and ribbies, 31 homers, 136 ribbies, hit 315, 20 triples. He did have one real significant game in his career. It was 1924 game. He went 6 for 6 with 12 RBIs. That 12 RBIs is, at the time, the only person who had done that. Mark Whitten has since tied it. But the person that he broke the record of, Wilbert Robertson, was an 11 RBI game. And this game was against the Brooklyn Robins, who were named after Robertson. Not many people liked Wilbert Robertson, especially Bottomley's manager at the time. His manager at the time was Branch Rickey, the same guy who signed Jackie Robinson to play with the Dodgers. But Branch Rickey, not liking Wilbert Robertson, wanted Robertson's record of 11 ribbies beaten. So even when the game was 9-1, he was stealing guys to second so Bottomley could drive him in. And even with the score 13-1 later in the game, he sacrificed, bunted a guy to second so Bottomley could drive him in, and it worked. He ended up with 12 ribbies in the game. Next, number 383 is a football card. This is from the 1955 Topps All-American set, kind of Topps first significant football cards. Bruiser Kennard, you love the name. He's got the old leather helmet. He was an offensive lineman. Was voted in 1969. They did the All-Centennial NFL team, and he was voted a starting tackle on that team. So he's one of the best players basically of all time. He's in the Hall of Fame. These 55 cards were cool. They showed guys in their collegiate career. There were 100 cards in the set, and just about all of them are big time stars. See, that card's a little beat, kind of bruised up itself, a little glue stuck to it, but just a cool card of a guy who was a really good player, ended up being a coach, and AD at Ole Miss, the place where he went to college. So Bruiser Kennard. Next on the list, and this one may not be quite a vintage card in that modern vintage era, but a significant player and card. This is Fernando Valenzuela's 1981 Topps Traded rookie card. When Valenzuela came up, he was 19 when he first came up. You can see there, just the end of that 1980 season through 18 innings, was 2-0, didn't give up any earned runs. And then this 81 season, Fernando Mania hit, and hit such big time that his first 8 starts, 5 of them were complete game shutouts. All 8 of the games were shutout or complete games. Had a 0.50 ERA, and he won all 8 of those games, so he's 8-0. So at the time, a career 10-0 record. He actually had, earlier in the 81 season with Mike Scioscia there, you see a longtime manager at the Angels for quite a while, but Fernando's first card, but you gotta like that Topps Traded where it's just him. First year Topps made traded cards. Fernando's first 6 full years, he was an all-star every year. 4 of those years was in the top 5 in the Cy Young running. He won the Cy Young this year. This was a strike-shortened year, so he was a Cy Young winner and the Rookie of the Year winner. After that, he had shoulder troubles. He pitched another probably 10 years after that, but with shoulder issues wasn't quite the same, but he still ended up with a 41.5 WAR, which is the highest WAR of any Mexican-born player still to this date. All right, next on the list is a old card, a 1906 Fan Craze of a Hall of Famer, Jake Beckley, first baseman here with the St. Louis Cardinals. A lot of years, good years with the Pittsburgh Pirates. These cards are kind of like playing cards that came out. You can see the backs. You could play a game with them. His was there out at first. So if you're playing this game, but Beckley was a really good player. So he's a Hall of Famer who deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. He's a 62 WAR guy. Was just 62 hits short of 3,000, while also stealing 300 bases in his career. Career 308 hitter, 1,581 ribbies. But maybe a guy a lot of you haven't heard of, Jake Beckley. Next, we are at number 380, and that is a 67 Mickey Mantle. And this Mantle, kind of old slab by SGC. Nice looking card. I love the 67 set with the big pictures, and then being a close-up of Mantle. Just, really nice picture basically of Mantle getting a little older in the face. This is a guy who, he's not just, there's a reason why his cards are in such demand other than, just being a Yankee. He was an awesome player. He led the league in WAR 6 out of 7 years between 1955 and 61. This is his third to last card and second to last season. And even in this season, he had almost a 400 on base percentage. And then our last guy out of this lot, number 379, is a 1974 Topps card of Ralph Garr. So I was like, why would you put a Ralph Garr in there? Well, Ralph Garr kind of became one of my favorites when, the first year buying cards is 73. Thought it was just kind of a cool color card. And, right there, they got me where they call Ralph the Roadrunner. I love that cartoon. Roadrunner as I was a 8-year-old kid. And Ralph Garr, that 74 season, first got to watch a couple games of him because Hank Aaron was chasing Babe Ruth's home run record, so they showed a couple Braves games, so I got to see him. And then reading the newspaper, reading the Minneapolis Tribune as a 9-year-old, which I did, read all the box scores, and then they put the league leaders every day in the paper, the top 10. And Ralph Garr was the batting leader pretty much that whole 74 season. He ended up, as you can see on the 75 card, where they use the same pitcher. It's actually maybe even a better 75 card a little clearer picture and a little closer cropped. But I'm going to pick the one where they use that picture first. But you can see that 74 season, he hit 353, 17 triples. He's also in double-digit homers those first 3 years, which is amazing for a guy who stepped in the bucket, way more than even Ichiro did on his swing. And then you see that inaction card on his follow-through after stepping way in the bucket with the helmet flying off, watching that ball, who knows, maybe going in the gap, maybe just a single. So he was a good singles guy. He had over 200 hits 3 out of 4 years there. He ended up with an over 300 career batting average, 306. So maybe a card you wouldn't expect on my top 400 list, but just another one of those that I loved the picture of the card and just the card itself. There you can see the back of that card. So that is it for today. Here's who we got. And we'll see you again within a week.